Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Goon Ramble. Delighted in some weird way this evening to be talking about Arsenal's final 90 minutes of the transfer deadline day. Been a really dramatic day, quite emphatic past 48 hours for Arsenal, seeing the departure of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as well as a host of other Arsenal names. Tonight, I'm delighted to say that I'm joined with Woes and James. Warren, come to you first. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. I hear that you've, there it is. Beautiful. I love that. And we'll say no more on that topic. James,
Always.
how are you? Been a pleasure.
How am I? Well, the skybox ain't working, so I'm sort of peeping behind Waz's shoulder at what's going on the old Sky Sports News. And, just very, despondent, hating it. It's just a Thursday for us, isn't it?
It should be a great 90 minutes. I can't
I've really sold it to everybody.
It should be a lot of fun. Before we get into all the transfer talk, obviously there's a lot of negativity surrounding the club at the minute. I'm really struggling to get behind this set of players. It's really difficult, especially after that loss against Liverpool. Even if we were to have kept the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, even if we were to have brought in, Lamai, which could possibly still happen, I still struggle to see a difference in this team from the problems that I saw last season. James, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we signed Ozil, it was just a little lift. That's what we need. I think we need a lift, and we're not going to get it from the board. We're not getting it from the manager. I mean, for me, we've all speculated about who said what at the weekend. Apparently, this one's had a go at Ramsey, had a go at Koscielny. Koscielny had a go at Ramsey. Sheck tore them all a new one. Apparently, they've all said sell Sanchez because he turns up when he wants, or he does all this extra training, and then when he gets on the training pitch, he's half-arsed or whatever. And I'm just like, if he's that much of a nuisance, it's like I said before we went on air, I've got a signed picture of Alexis Sanchez in a frame just in the corner of my room over there. If he's that much of a bother, get him out. Get him out. I don't care how good of a player he is. If he's that much of a nuisance, just get him out. I mean, look at Chelsea. We know how good of a player Diego Costa is when he wants to be, but they're not bringing him back. They're just going, do what you want, whatever, and then we'll sell you to Atletico Madrid. But, in January, he's just going to piss off to somebody else anyway. I don't think he's going to give his all till after Jan. And I mean, this statement of coming out, we're keeping him because he's a what do they call it? I can't remember the word. They said it's something or other because it makes us challenge for the league. For me, if you go 10 to 11 points behind already, you've ballsed it. And we're 6 behind, most of them now? 2 games behind?
Yeah, I mean, staying with you, James, with this current set of players that we've got, I mean, it's practically bar Lacazette and Kolasinac. It's practically the same team that it was last season. I mean, I don't see this team challenging. We're already 6 points off the pace at a minute. I struggle to have any confidence in this side.
Yeah, exactly my point, mate. You're not going to get more confident when the 2 that you sign are on the bench. And I mean, you sign a striker for 52.7 million, you bring him on against Liverpool, and you go, get on the left-hand side, mate. You get on the wings. It baffles belief. I mean, we're playing right backs at left back. We're playing left backs at centre back. This is a guy who, all right, Ricardo Rodriguez now is at Wolfsburg, but we all know how good he was in the Bundesliga. We know how good Alaba, whatever he is, at Bayern Munich. Bernat's not a bad left back either, the sub one. And I mean, he was in a team of this season, and he's better than them 2. Yeah, he's not good enough to play against Liverpool. If Salah was running at Kolasinac at the weekend, he'd have hit him once and he'd gone, oh, no, I'm not running at him anymore then. But with Bellerin, don't get me wrong, my hair's shit like Bellerin's now. It's just the way it is. My life's gone down that road. But, he was dreadful the other night. He was absolutely dreadful. He needs to wake up.
He ain't a left back though, mate.
I know this, but he needs to wake up and take a long, hard look at himself because even at right back, he's been suspect lately. I think he's carrying. I've said he's carried an injury through when I went to the Cup semi-final and I didn't think he looked right there.
I mean, we've speculated about that for a long time. We all don't know if there's this slight niggle that he's got where he might have to have an operation on it, but it seemingly he didn't have that surgery over the summer. So maybe there's something there that we don't quite know about. But with Oxlade-Chamberlain leaving, you'd assume now that he's destined to fulfil what I would hope is his rightful potential in that right back spot. But yeah, that's enough of that. We won't speculate. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, mate. Yeah, I see earlier there's this Bosnian guy. Apparently he's a centre back, but for some reason he was playing a left wing back, and he got down the wing. An unbelievable assist earlier. I don't know why they're playing Kolasinac or something. His name was Bosnian centre back. Apparently he was playing left wing back, and he got down there. Unbelievable assist for his country tonight. But strange, maybe playing players out of position works. I don't know, but it's mental, isn't it? We've got. I mean, I'm not being funny. Regardless of ins and outs and the scenario we find ourselves in, Arsene Wenger playing inverted wing backs, 2 left backs at centre back. It's just absolute insanity. I mean, with the Kolasinac idea, I can't understand it. For me, it's like he's gone out, he's bought a 60-inch, all singing, all dancing, Ultra HD TV, but he's using his little 20-inch one in the living room and putting it out in the garage. I mean, what is? I don't understand it. What is he doing? Like, it's mental. And Kolasinac was a good signing. Lacazette, good signing. We never kicked on this summer, did we? And I know we're sitting here like lemons in the hope that in the next hour and 8 minutes or whatever it is, that something's going to come out of the bag. And we know it ain't, but we can dream. And we've sat there, watched Tommy Lamar score an absolute belter with his left peg tonight in the top bins. We've seen him get another goal, and Mbappe scored for France. It's just this. It's painful thinking the way this transfer window has evolved and developed. And to a man, I think the fan base now, even Arsenal's most ardent supporters, are miffed, I'd say, by the situation. And I'm not one for buying that there's issues with money and things like that. I just think it's gross negligence. And I think even last season, the signing of Lucas Perez was a panic. It was a panic. It was just and we've continued in that. And then this summer's been nothing short of an absolute shambles, if you're asking me. And the worst thing is the two players he has recruited, he's not using correctly anyway. So we've got a long season ahead of us, and we've got to try and stay positive, because no matter who leaves, whoever remains at the club is going to have to give their all for Arsenal Football Club, and we're going to have to go from there. But the scenario that worries me is the players we've got who are running out of contract, and then next season, next summer, you're looking at the exact same repetition of this scenario. You've got Danny Welbeck, Theo Walcott, Aaron Ramsey. You've got Ospina. There's like 5 or 6 first-team squad players who are going to be in the same scenario again. They can go and be happy and go and do what they want, run down their contract, the ball's in their court. So, yeah, it's strange, really, the sales of Gabriel, and I can't really understand this window. I really, really cannot. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I would say we're actually very, very fortunate this window. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. But if you look at it, if Atletico Madrid didn't get that embargo and we didn't land, like, who would we have got? Is he a good player? How's he, embargo?
He's a drinking it, Mbongo. I used to have that at school on the old lunch break. No, you know, for me, I'm like, looking back at it, you consider it. We are bloody lucky to have Lacazette. Bloody lucky, because for me, unless it was...
James, what does that say about our club, though, if it's luck that we're having to get Lacazette? Because
exactly, mate.
I totally agree with you in what you're saying there, that if, Atletico hadn't got their transfer ban or whatever, then he'd have been well on his way to Atletico Madrid, starting games, not on the bench.
Unless it was Sanchez and Aguero in a swap, then God knows what we'd have done. I don't know what we'd have done, because he would have still got rid of Perez, and, you know, he would have persisted with Danny Welbeck as probably the main striker. And to be fair to you, that's not fair on the kid. I rate Danny Welbeck's work rate. I rate everything else. But he's paid to score goals. And, I mean, that at the weekend was 0-0, and he dug it straight into the ground. I'm sorry, if Lacazette was on and he had a chance like that, he'd have probably buried it. That's the difference for me.
Do you worry with Lacazette that, because I think it's kind of public knowledge that he wasn't Arsene Wenger's first choice. You know, he's rejected him pretty much the past 2 summers in 2015 and 2016. I don't know how true those Kylian and Mbappe rumours were earlier on in the summer. But I'm slightly miffed in the fact that we bought Mustafi in last season, and now Wenger's tried to offload him to Inter Milan this summer, if there's any truth in that, which I think there is. Do you not worry that, given that Wenger maybe doesn't have 110% complete faith in Lacazette, as evidenced by him benching him at Liverpool, do you not worry that we're going to be in that similar situation with Mustafi with Lacazette next summer?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you got to factor in where we finish in the league, because at the moment, you know, I pipped us just to get into the top 4 when I did all my predictions and that at the start of the year. But I don't know. I think we'll be lucky to get top 8. I don't know if I'm just going into complete meltdown, or looking at it now, I just think it's a complete and utter shambles.
Well, I mean, James, you look at that Liverpool game, and the performance was utterly clueless. The tactics were inept, and now you've got to add into the mix that we've got players at the club that don't want to be here necessarily. Mustafi, does he want to be at the club anymore? Alexis Sanchez has kind of made it quite vocal that he doesn't want to be at the club anymore. I mean, we were known in the past for having such harmony in the dressing room, and our club motto is meant to be victory through harmony, but we are probably the most disjointed dressing room in a minute if there is all this infighting, and that's a big problem in itself. So I mean, if there's no peace within the team, then that's not going to translate into results whatsoever. So I'm especially worried for that game against Chelsea away. I think we might just scrape a win against Bournemouth, but the not so distant future is worrying. It really worries me.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I can't remember the exact time and the game it was, but they said that Wenger gave them some instructions at half time, and they were all like, their heads were down, it was all going wrong, and the players took account of it for themselves and were like, right, well, we'll sort this ourselves and get through and push through. And I mean, you know, people are talking about it, Ian Wright at the moment and everything else. He was saying when Wenger first come in, when that door was shut, it was Tony Adams, it was these players. Per Mertesacker, I think he's a great captain. I think he's a good player. Obviously, I've always loved him. But someone's got to take account of this. I mean, like I said earlier, it's all speculation. Apparently, Petr Cech tore him a new one, which thank God. I'm like, he's a senior player, but then he's in the end of his career. He's won everything. Does he really care that much? He's just, for me, it just screams he's there for the money. I mean, is there someone who can take account of this team?
Mate, got a little interesting rumour here. Jim White has just come up and said that apparently Riyad Mahrez is in Paris. I mean, I don't know how he's got there from Algerian international duty, but apparently he's popped up in Paris, according to these reports. So whether he's there to just have a cuddle with Arsene Wenger or something, I don't know. But it could be something in it. But I don't know.
Would you want him?
Would I want him?
Yeah,
mate. At the start of the summer, I'd have said no. That shouldn't be our. Personally, I'll be looking at someone like Tommy Lamar, but we completely balls that up. We put in offers earlier on in the summer. We backed out, and even today, with that offer, I genuinely do believe that it was just a case of we can't retain Alexis' services anymore. We're going to sell him, and we're going to reinvest that money immediately. And for one reason or another, whether it's Lamar felt like he'd been pissed about for a few months with a lower price and all that, and or he don't want to play Europa League. I'm not buying all this, we can't get it over the line. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I'm sorry. It takes, do you know what I mean? You can get it over the line. Deals have been done in short amount of time. If you really want to get it done, you can. So I just think that from top to bottom, Dick Law is a dick. I just think we're struggling, and we need real football men back in there and someone who's going to grasp it and get hold of it. But if we can get an additional body over the line and keep Alexis, even though personally it wouldn't be my preference, then yeah, but he could be in Paris for any reason, to be honest with you. But
if it came down to a choice between, I think it's going to be quite an easy one for you, Julian Draxler or Riyad Mahrez, who would you be looking to go for?
Move on. No, so definitely, obviously, I'd go for Julian Draxler. I love Draxler, I always have. I mean, everyone can see Riyad Mahrez has talent, but there's questions over his work rate and his work ethic, and he's an exciting footballer to watch, and you can completely understand, same as Oxlade-Chamberlain, why people love watching him, because he is explosive and he's skillful and he can beat a man. But I don't know, there's question marks. He could come to Arsenal, he could go to a top club, and he could really, really turn it up a notch and become a top player. But he's not quite the level for me of someone like Julian Draxler or Thomas Lemar. But that's just me. Other people will be.
What I don't understand is PSG are willing to let Draxler go for 35 mil. You got someone there. There's someone. Yeah, exactly. But there's someone there that's young, German. We've scattered him before. I mean, bloody hell, he was walked around the training ground with his parents and all this, years and years ago. We were big in for him before he even went to PSG. And was it Wolfsburg he was at before?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at him for ages. Like Lacazette, 10 years or so we've been following him. We finally got him over the line. I'm looking at it and I'm like, if he's 35 mil, but then Mahrez is 40, don't get me wrong, Mahrez, I think he had a bad season last year. I think the majority of Leicester had a bad season last year. And I've always said, you don't become a wanker overnight. He might just need a new lease of life. Arsenal might be it for him. But if he's 40 mil and you've got Draxler there for 35, you go over there. I'm sorry, you take Draxler. Draxler's a different breed. Different breed. Younger. He want to prove himself because he was part of that project PSG, and he's like, right, well, they've loaned me off. For me though, it's what does Arsenal sell now apart from London and potentially cash? What's the ambition? What's the goal? What's the project?
I was thinking this the other day, James. We're probably, I would say, one of the least attractive propositions in football in terms of wanting to move to a big club.
Yeah.
Well, Cookie, our mate Clive, he always speaks about it and he spoke about it a lot. And I remember on a ramble at the start of last season, and we were talking about, are Arsenal still the employer of choice? And no, you got to say to yourself, no, they're not anymore. And it's entirely frustrating because if we can't attract the top bracket like your Ozils and Sanchez that we did, then surely players like Ousmane Dembele, Kovacic, them players that previously moved the deal from Inter Milan, we should have been trying to snap him up then, Kovacic, before he went to Real Madrid. Ousmane Dembele, we should have been trying to snap him up then before he went out to Dortmund. Like, we should be trying to do what they're doing and then give yourself an opportunity to compete at the highest level because you've got very, very talented players. If you added players like that to Sanchez and Ozil, they might well have stayed. They might well have been interested in continuing at our football club, but we're all up in arms at the moment, and it's quite devastating being an Arsenal fan, to be honest, because even all the other clubs are sort of, it's more sympathy. You're listening and you're thinking, well, how is it happening? How have we spent minus money in this transfer window? I mean, where is all this money going? I don't know, mate, but something seriously has to change because
it's crazy, mate.
I'm seeing people out there depressed who are never depressed. And when they start getting depressed, and the worst thing is the last 3 seasons, I've probably gone through a cycle of being infuriated, then upset, then really angry, then loving Wenger again, and then getting upset again. And this year, I'm just numb to it, mate. I really am numb to it. I'm looking at going into the Europa League and I'm just sort of thinking Sanchez is staying completely reluctantly. For me, he's got absolutely no interest in wanting to stay at Arsenal Football Club. It is just because the deals weren't done earlier. He doesn't want to stay there. Mesut, for me, he isn't kicking and singing and dancing, but I think he's just running down his deal. And I think the worst thing for the scenario of all these players is in 6 months' time, in the middle of our season, they can start committing to other clubs and talking to other clubs. I mean, what does that say for us? And I don't know.
I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to be too downbeat, mate.
I plan on sleeping tonight, mate.
Mate, the thing is, the one thing I would say is I really do not think it's all doom and gloom. I still look at our squad. I think there's a lot of players that could have great seasons, and it is.
Yeah, but mate, I look at the way we played against Liverpool, and I see a whole horde of individuals that are incredibly talented, but they're being lined up in completely the wrong way. Bellerin at left,
exactly, mate.
It's ridiculous, and
I've
got the exact same faith that you have in a lot of these players, as I'm sure a lot of every single Arsenal fan does in this team. But the way they're put together by our manager Arsene Wenger is completely wrong, and it nullifies all of their ability. So for me, I don't have any faith for this season. I really don't. If Liverpool is an example of what it's going to be, nothing.
Yeah, mate. I mean, like you're saying about the Liverpool game, I mean, I saw some comments with everyone. It's obvious how high Aaron Ramsey was in that game, and you could see Ramsey constantly talking to the bench, and even when we conceded the first goal, Ox and Ramsey were talking to the bench, which is astonishing. But I've got a feeling that he could notice what was going on. I genuinely do believe he's being instructed, not just because he's Aaron Ramsey. I think this is a technique Arsene Wenger's implemented before, and I've seen him talk about it in an interview. He said that when teams press high, he instructs his secondary midfielder to push on to sort of nullify the press, if you know what I mean, because they can't press high because they know that Ramsey's gone in behind, or whoever's playing in that position it goes in behind. But for me, that's just suicidal. It's absolute nonsense to do that against a team of the quality of Liverpool, especially with the pace that they got on the spring. And I just think Wenger he's tactically outdated. I think he's been given far too much power at this club. I think, unfortunately, he's still living in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think he is so narrow-minded with a situation. He's doing crazy things, crazy things. I mean, he's done some strange decisions, but my God, the inverted wing-backs, it's absolute insanity. And you can see he's lost the dressing room. He really has lost the dressing room there. And there's so much respect for him because of the longevity of his Arsenal career and things like that. But I'll tell you a lot, it won't be long before things do start really coming out. I think if this continues, and it will get nasty. But I just want Arsenal to just play Kolasinac at left wing back and play Bellerin at right wing back and play 3 centre backs at centre back. That's not hard. It's not hard to ask for simplicity. Then you might start seeing a midfield partnership flourish. Then you might start seeing other players really start to progress. Then you might see Alexis looking a bit happier, even if he's only here for another 6 months, 8 months, or whatever he's here for, actually mentally here for. You've got Mesut Ozil who's struggling. You need Lacazette, get him up top. You spent £52 million on him and you drop him. And you don't just drop him, you drop Olivier Giroud as well and play Wells. I mean, it's so strange. And our business this summer, don't get me wrong, it's very, very unflattering. But I still look at our squad. I think we're short of centre-back now. Gabriel's gone. I like Gabriel, especially in a free. I don't think he was a danger to anyone. He's not world-class, but he certainly isn't pony, to be honest with you. He doesn't seem to fancy Callum Chambers at the moment. Jack Wilshere, the situation's crazy. I think Jack could do a fantastic job for us. But I would have gone for a CM. And going forward, he's relying on players that are not committing their future to Arsenal Football Club. So we're in a dangerous situation, but we're just going to have to suck it and see, really, aren't we? Because it's all speculation, but it sounds very, very disappointing. But what can we say?
Yeah, James, coming to you, I know that particularly myself, I was a big fan of the Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka partnership towards the end of last season. Seemed to really flourish, worked really well in those final couple of games, especially notably in the FA Cup final. And we saw that completely undone against Liverpool. And if was, as rightly said, that Aaron Ramsey's being told to press forwards against teams such as Liverpool where they press as high, I mean, it's a cause for concern that seeing how easily that midfield was carved apart and seeing the decline in Granit Xhaka's performances, especially. I mean, what do you think about that midfield? Because we've often spoken that we need a midfield general. We had Coughlin come through in early 2015. He's shown that he's not quite up to the pace. And we haven't really got that kind of guy in the midfield, that N'Golo Kante, who's going to break up play and turn defence into attack.
Yeah, I think we all cursed Xhaka, didn't we? We all looked at him and were like, he's going to be player of the year this year. And then ever since we've all said
I actually tweeted that.
I think since we've all agreed and said it, it's all got a bit tits up, innit? I think we all backed him too. I don't know what it is. He just seems to, in his head, like sometimes last year when he just would see blood and kick somebody. I just think he forgets what colour shirts we're in and stuff like that. He just seems to assist the other team instead of assisting us, and it all goes wrong. I think some of the balls that he's played initially from the back are suicide balls anyway, so he's got to mop it up and try and produce something out of it. But yeah, I don't know. But for me, that's still the strongest centre midfield partnership we've got, and I mean, it's painful. But I thought Ramsey the other day, I know was, me, I love Aaron Ramsey as well, but I thought that was diabolical the other day. I thought all of it was diabolical. But, I mean, if he's being instructed to press against that, then that is just complete incompetence from our manager anyway. That is total stupid behaviour. I mean, Liverpool, next to Leicester, we played both of them there. They're the two best counter-attacking teams in the league, would you say? They pack, contain, sprint, cross it in goals. I mean, look at the Sturridge one. And I mean, if it's got to be how we approach. I think we just approach games in the same way. It's just, let's see what happens on the day. Let's roll the balls out and see what happens. I don't think we, review video or, we talk and start, pick a style to suit a game or anything. For me, I would have gone with probably Coquelin or something against Liverpool, block them out, and then we'll counter on them because we got pace in abundance. We got people who can finish. I just don't think I think it's just the same all the time for every team we play. I don't think they think it through.
No, I'm inclined to agree there. But
I mean, what's Steve Bold doing? What does he do?
What does Steve Bold do? What does Jens Lehmann do? I mean, He seems to have vanished into the shadows. But guys, I'm just going to bring us on to our first comment on the video that I want to.
I got this from Paris, by the way. Look at that. Look, that's from Paris.
What's this, mate?
Little Mickey Mouse cut. Look at that.
Oh, mate, that's beautiful. You've been having the time of your life.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
But I've got a comment here to bring us all back down to earth. A message from Thunder Road. Love that name. Just joined, but please, folks, it's 3 games into the season. 3 games and people are slitting their wrists. Do you think maybe as a fan base we are overreacting?
No.
Look, I see what he's saying. The thing is, you've got to take it at face value, and I think the frustrations lie that we're Arsenal Football Club, and Accrington and Stanley have spent more money than us this window. So let's be brutally honest. Is our squad good enough to win the title? No, we finished outside the top 4 last season. Is our squad good enough to compete for top 4? Well, it's touch and go because we finished outside the top 4 last season. Have we improved on this squad? I'd say Kolasinac actually is an upgrade at left wing back, and Lacazette is certainly a very, very astute addition. But you just wanted the next level, and with the performances at Old Trafford, at bloody hell. That's the next one coming up, by the way. I know we've got Stamford Bridge in a couple of weeks as well, but it's hard not to be a bit down after seeing the same scenario happen again at Anfield, and it's just the manner of defeat more than anything. If we'd lost 2-1 by an unlucky goal and we'd battled and worked hard, and actually, to be fair, at Stoke, I felt we were unlucky. I felt we created a hell of a lot of chances. It just didn't happen for us on the day. Refereeing decisions were poor, and we conceded a pony goal from an individual error from Xhaka, and we didn't deal with it. So that was unlucky. But the Liverpool game was really, really sucked the life out of us. And now knowing that Oxlade-Chamberlain has gone to Liverpool and seeing his performance, it's just scandalous that Arsenal would even consider, because it was clear to all that he didn't want to be on that pitch. Personally, it was shambolic. But sometimes maybe you need a scenario like that where the dressing room comes to blows, everyone's pissed off, and you just regroup. We've had the international break. Hopefully everyone comes back fresh, fully fit, and raring to go. And you never know, it might kick something up the players. And personally, it's just, for me, it's more down to us and putting players in their positions, mate. None of these square pegs in round holes anymore. Just play them in their rightful areas. Don't worry about, a £52 million centre forward like Lacazette shouldn't need to worry about adapting to Anfield. He'll be fine. He's fine. Don't worry about us, and just let's look at what we can do. And we've got to move on from here. We can't sit doom and gloom, and we're still not signing anyone by the looks of things. And I'm just hearing Danny Drinkwater's trying to sign. He's going to be having a medical at Chelsea, so that's an interesting move for them. But yeah, it's not all doom and gloom, because like I said, I look at the face value of the players and I look at our squad, and I am pleased with what the options we've got available, but I'm just so worried that Arsene Wenger won't utilise them correctly. And people like Jack Wilshere, I wonder what the future holds for him, because I think he's a very talented footballer, but Arsene doesn't seem to like him. Callum Chambers. The one thing I would say is there's too many players that are on the cusp of either being brilliant or pony, and it's a problem. If Alex Iwobi has a great season, if Ramsey has a great season, if Wilshere contributes a great season, if Theo Walcott notches in with goals, Danny Welbeck starts scoring goals, then the season could become a very good one. But if it goes the other way, mate, we could be 8th. Like JJ said, it really is a fine balance. And it's just entirely frustrating as a fan that we are Arsenal Football Club, 7th most valuable club in world football, and we're out here doing nothing. We're getting taken the piss out of. We've got players with contracts running out. We've got a whole coaching staff from top to bottom that need renewing, all of them, every single one of them. They're just all cronies. It's just mad. But at the end of the day, it's the club we love, and we will dust ourselves down. We will turn up to the Bournemouth game, whether there's protests, which I'm sure there will be now, and there rightly will be. But we're going to have to move on and get behind the boys that are still at the club and are happy to wear the shirt.
Yeah, for me, we've got such a huge dilemma now in the point of view of looking at where we're at in the league. All right, it's 3 games, don't get carried away. I will get carried away now. I thought the Europa League was something that we were going to look at and possibly play, sort of second string players or kids. That might be our only outlet in the Champions League now. I'd go, do you know what? You got to go for this. And then after the Europa League, I know we got Chelsea after one. We got Spurs after another. You could lose another 6 points there in the league. It's like, how does he tackle the Europa League now? How does he tackle that? For me, I'm like, you're going to have to go for it, mate. You're going to have to go for it. It might be your only way in.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I still think with the Europa League, he's going to, for these group stages, it'll be a good mix of players like Callum Chambers, like Jack Wilshere, Rob Holding, etc. Players that are going to be limited to games in the Premier League. But yeah, it could well be a similar case of the Man United scenario where we've got to make sure that we win the Europa League to get into the Champions League. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all develops. But let's talk about what we actually came on here to talk about. That is Arsenal's transfer news. Instead of just talking about all the, well, I mean, that's going to be doom and gloom as well, isn't it? But let's talk about someone that's been a great servant to Arsenal Football Club and recently departed to West Bromwich Albion. James, the other day we saw the departure of Kieran Gibbs for a few £7 million. Not a bad price for a player that barely got in the team last season. A guy I absolutely love. Got a shed load of abuse that was completely undeserved. I can only wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, from me, best of luck. You know, I weren't his biggest fan. I didn't think he was the levels that Arsenal needed. I thought the other year when he was coming in, he was playing in midfield. I thought he looked a lot better at midfield than he ever did at left back. I thought he looked brilliant when he goes forward. I will always remember he shanked that one in against Swansea. What a goal that was. He got that equaliser against Spurs, blocked that header at West Brom. Against Hull in the cup final. Did that other one at West Brom, the block to get us, you know, the 4th place. He's had some good bits, and, you know, for him, he's looking at it, World Cup year. You know, what left backs have England really got? You know, I think deep down he probably thinks he's better than Cresswell. I sort of think he's better than Cresswell anyway.
He is.
He wants to get in, and fair play. You know, go to West Brom, and I wish him all the best of luck. You know, for me, he weren't the levels that we needed, sadly.
Agree, mate. And was final thoughts on Kieran Gibbs?
Yeah, it's a fair assumption, to be fair. And he's a very, very likeable guy. He just seems a nice guy, doesn't he? And it was heartbreaking to hear that story that obviously he played the 3 games before the cup final, and apparently Wenger opted to play. I mean, I don't know how true this is, but apparently Arsene Wenger opted to play Oxlade-Chamberlain ahead of him, and as a result, Gibbo said he didn't want to be in the squad whatsoever, and he didn't turn up to the cup final day, which is a real shame. And I'm not sure if he's been seen since. So that would be entirely frustrating for him to have Ox picked ahead of him and then Ox leaving the club as well, because obviously Arsene Wenger was adamant that he would stay. But with regards to Gibbo, he's been a great servant to the club. His career often halted by injuries at the Arsenal, but I really liked him. I loved him, and that day at West Brom, that one for me. I mean, obviously I was at the cup final, but we was 2-0 down at the time, and that header was just sort of, oh my God, we're getting battered here. Like, he didn't appreciate the quality of it at the time, but that tackle at West Brom, that 15 minutes was the worst 15 minutes of my life. And I think about it, Spurs were trying to get top 4, weren't they? And we'd gone in front, and it was just carnage. And when I see he'd literally come on as a sub, literally come in, and I see the ball, he's up the other end to us, I see the ball played through, and I thought, that's it. It's a goal. I thought, that's it. We're done with Europa League. And I talk about that now. We are Europa League, but back then there was no chance we was Europa League. And and he just flew himself across, absolutely flung himself, and celebrated it like he scored a goal. And that would be my favourite memory from Gibbo. And like you said, the goal at Swansea and the Spurs goal and things like that. But yeah, he's been a good servant.
Was it Anderlecht or something he scored against the other year?
Anderlecht.
Yeah, he scored a really good one there, didn't he? Yeah.
I was there as well, mate. And he got the equaliser there, crossed in back post, and then Podolski scored. We scored 2 in about 2 minutes. That was one of the worst games I've ever been to in my life. That basically will be a Europa League game. That is sort of what we're going to be expecting ourselves of. But we were terrible in that game, 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And I think he actually come on left wing in that game.
Yeah.
And it got crossed the back post, and he banged in a volley. Yeah.
I saw that. I saw people sharing that the other day. I was like, I forgot all about it. I was like, that's a goal, that is. Yeah.
But I mean, I wish him all the best. And like he said himself, I don't know if you saw his comments. He said that moving to West Brom, Tony Pulis, he's never had a manager like that. It's obviously very, very different to the style he's used to, and it might teach him parts of his game that maybe were lacking, which is very, very fair.
Might toughen him up a bit, you know. He's always had quite a bad injury record.
I just hope he gets runs, because I personally think I hope he don't get the runs. I hope he gets a run in the side. But he's a good lad, Kieran, and I hope he gets a few games and he ends up playing for England, because that would be the icing on the cake, really. Because I don't think there's much between him and Danny Rose if he could stay fully fit and he's in a system that works. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen it. Apparently, Ross Barkley's turned down a move to Chelsea, which is astonishing.
Still kicking off tonight.
Is he in London? Is he looking for somewhere to go?
I don't know. He's in Paris as well.
Does he need home?
Everyone's going to Paris. Yeah. I think I'm going to get on a Eurostar in a minute.
Chelsea £30 million deal for Ross Barkley collapses after he changed his mind during the medical and decides to go back to Everton.
Yeah.
Just halfway through the medical, just goes home. Fair enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently
Oh,
halfway
yeah,
through the
that's what it's
medical and
saying,
just
yeah.
left.
Wow.
Well,
That's quite a round trip. Would not want to be paying his petrol. Anyway,
VAT receipts, mate. VAT receipts.
final note on Kieran Gibbs. Yeah, great guy all round, and should be noted as well. They did a lot of work with the Arsenal Foundation, and I'm sure that'll live long in the memory of a lot of Arsenal fans and people that have been involved in the charity work with the club. So props to Kieran Gibbs, and I'm sure that he's going to have a very successful future with West Brom, a club that have certainly got a stronger defence than we have. So yeah, best of luck to him. I hope that he's in contention for the World Cup next year. Anyway, let's get on to the big one. James, I'll come to you first. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain moving to Liverpool. Wasn't much of a shock yesterday. We've got 40 million for him. For a player that's never started more than 17 league games, never scored more than a couple of goals in a season. I mean, I look at that as I've never really had the emotional attachment to Oxlade-Chamberlain. I have to, weirdly, someone like Kieran Gibbs. I don't really want to wish him all the best after that performance against Liverpool. I just thought that was utterly shambolic. And the way this transfer has kind of been brewing, it's kind of really put me off Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'm struggling to kind of wish him well. But 40 million, and apparently there's 10 million in add-ons as well. So we could be looking at a 50 million transfer fee in total. Shrewd business by Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, someone had to get out of there. And I think he's the one who's, been the sacrificial lamb, so to say. I look at it and I think, you want to play centre mid, mate. You ain't got a chance playing centre mid there. You're going to be just like James Milner, mate. You'll be a left back in a few weeks. I don't know. It saddens me because I backed him, but I've always said, and Woz will back me as well here. I've always went, he needs to up his numbers, and people used to slag me and was off going, oh, but look at this, what he does, and look at that, what he does. I'm like, well, yeah, but is he scoring? No. Is he getting assists? No. He put in 2 brilliant crosses last year against City in the semi-final and against United for Giroud to score that header. But other than that, what did he really do? And, I think I admire the fact that he turned down Chelsea and he turned down that extra money just because I think he probably realised playtime at Liverpool, I might have more of a chance. Lallana's injured at the moment. How long is he going to be injured for? Klopp's an exciting prospect. And, he's got Champions League football, which he said he wanted. So happy days for him. And,
Do you think it will be happy days for him, though? Because, I mean, I look at Oxlade-Chamberlain. I look at, first of all, Liverpool's wingers in Mane, Salah, Firmino, Coutinho, who can also play there. I don't really see him getting ahead of those players at the minute. Central midfield, Henderson, Lallana. I struggle to see him.
He's probably going to be deployed as a cam, isn't he? Because I think the Spanish window's open until tomorrow night, and I guess Coutinho, if he don't get gone tonight, he'll probably be gone tomorrow, won't he? So I'm guessing he'll be deployed as a cam, really.
Well, I mean, they're saying now that Coutinho could well remain at Barcelona. So if that is Liverpool, if that is be the case, then I mean, I struggle to see him being a first choice player at Liverpool.
Yeah, possibly, but for me, it's more anger. I mean, you were there. I heard some people saying when he come over and clapped, it was quite nice, and then apparently he sort of sarcastically clapped back because he was getting pelters. I mean, you were there? Did you see any?
No, I wasn't there, mate.
I thought you were at Anfield.
No,
I think it was Amanda who said that.
Amanda said it. Yeah, Amanda.
Yeah, and I mean, it was apparently a load of them were tearing into him in the changing room after. He was one of the main ones, along with Ramsey, being shouted at. So.
The one thing, Ox always made a note of being the guy that would go to the crowd. He always liked to do that. Ox does it, Theo does it, and when Per ever steps on the pitch once in a cup final, do you know what I mean? But
Czech normally comes over as well.
Yeah, but Ox really goes out of his way to make a point that he is going over to clap the fans, and he always has done that. So, but I'm not surprised that any player that went over there would have got pelters because it was an absolute shambolic performance. One of the worst
I just think
I've ever seen.
if you knew all this was happening and they were linked with him and trying to, I'm like, why did you play him? It's like
one last throw of the dice to try and keep him, but I mean,
it's like a self-sabotage, though, isn't it? I mean, like, he didn't want to be out there more than anybody. I'm like, you could have put bloody Reece Nelson or someone like that out there, and he might have given more of a chance. Bellerin, exactly. But do you know what I mean? You could. He just looked so half-assed in that game.
I think it's been a while coming, this situation with Chamberlain. I mean, I was looking back not too long ago about an interview not too long before the cup final where they were talking about Oxlade-Chamberlain and how he's thriving in this right wing back role. And I mean, I've seen Arsenal do these kind of interviews with the Ox before where they've said, oh, you're thriving at right wing, oh, you're thriving at left wing, you're thriving in central midfield. Oh, look, you're thriving at right wing back now. How are you finding that? And he comes out and says, oh, yeah, I've been speaking to the boss, talking about playing right back, talking about playing left back. I might, even go in goal next time. And that kind of arrogant demeanour where he kind of, fair enough, he's been knocked about Arsenal a fair few times. No one's going to deny that. But that's because he's never been consistent enough in one position. Yeah. And he's been nowhere near consistent enough in central midfield to warrant a starting place within the team. There have been games where he's been unbelievable in central midfield. That one where he was 18 years old and just tore AC Milan apart. 2011-12 was Ox's best season for me. From there, he's never moved on. He's never got better since that season. If anything, he's declined a little bit because we've never really seen the potential that he was meant to fulfill. But yeah, your thoughts on the Ox transfer? I mean, a player that I struggle to see playing central midfield for the longevity of his career. Could this be a make or break kind of move for him?
Shall I grab the popcorn now, or should I wait?
No, it's not. I'm not going to sit here and slay. Everyone's fully aware that I'm not Oxlade-Chamberlain's biggest fan. I've always understood that he's had potential ability. For me, you can do everything from A to B, but when you hit it to C, it never happens and it ends up in Z. Do you know what I mean? That's his problem, and it always was like that with Oxlade-Chamberlain. And he'd do once in a blue moon, he'd do something nice, but his numbers talk for themselves. I mean, you look over the years, they really do talk for themselves. Andre Santos had equalled his highest ever Premier League return. Do you know what I mean? For goals, it's just astonishing for a player like Oxlade-Chamberlain to have that. But I mean, it's entirely frustrating watching him as a footballer. I just think he's so thick. He really is thick. He's just stupid. And I'm not sure that Jurgen Klopp can teach that out of him. I just think I think his footballing IQ is so low that if he had even half a brain, he could be one of the best wingers in Europe. He really could be. And he could play central midfield because he's got all the attributes. He's got the burst. He can beat people in close proximity. He can certainly hit the ball. He can deliver across. He's strong. He's got the lot, but he's thick as anything. I just want to get a big 2x4 and smash him over the head and see if it will make him actually get a brain. But, I mean, I don't understand this whole central midfield thing because you've got Gigi Wijnaldum, you've got Henderson, you've got Emre Can. They've signed Keita for next season. If Coutinho stays, I don't see how Ox is getting in. And you look at their right backs, you've got Klein. I mean, Ox can't play right back. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. Maybe right wing back, you can get away with it with a protection, but as an actual defender, he's not interested in defending. He can't defend. He's poor in the tackle. Even in the semi-final against City, when everyone was saying he's brilliant, he fouled Aguero in the box. It should have been a blatant penalty. It weren't given. We got away with it. He is always a second away from a mistake, Oxlade-Chamberlain. And am I sad to see him go? In a way, yes, because it feels like it's such a waste of a player, and you often wonder if Wenger had treated him differently or certain things had happened in his career. Maybe he would have developed. But for me, he hasn't. He hasn't changed one iota since he joined to now. He has not changed a thing. And at the time, I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain left Southampton and then they got Mane in. And the ironic thing is that when they got Mane in, he probably wouldn't have got in the Southampton team ahead of Mane. And now Mane's gone to Liverpool and now he's going to play second fiddle to Mane. So it's strange for Ox. I mean, we all wish him well. Personally, I thought the way he approached it and his attitude was disgusting. I was really disappointed in it, but he's gone now, and we're laughing really for a player in the last year of a contract. I mean, it amuses me that the press and fans of other clubs who literally just watch match of the day highlights think he's astonishing. When really, if you do watch him for the whole game, yes, he does some brilliant things, but the consistency ain't there, the end product ain't there, and he's nearly 25. And will it ever be there? I don't know, possibly, but good luck to him. Hopefully, from an England point of view, he does develop into the player that Arsene Wenger seemed convinced he was telling everyone he will be in the next 2 years. He'll be the one that everyone's looking for. So if he does, that's good for our national side. But, I mean, to be honest with you, even if he does go and fulfil his potential elsewhere, I ain't bothered because he hasn't done it for Arsenal yet. He hasn't looked like even doing it for Arsenal. So £40 million with a potential to rise to 50 million. Hopefully, he don't have to complete 10 crosses. Otherwise, we won't be getting that extra 10 million. But let's see how he goes. But realistically, to get that money for him, I don't think we needed to replace him as such in the squad. I think it leaves us in a situation where if he does play, I think with a right wing back, he will attempt to get away with someone like Reece Nelson. I really do think he will trust him in certain games. And if you're going to play right back, you know for a fact Arsene Wenger will look towards Callum Chambers. He'll look towards Ainsley Maitland-Niles to fill in. So
Debuchy.
What's the Debuchy? Still exists today, but yeah, I mean, that is a bit of a worry, that sort of right back role. But it depends what he's going to do. I don't know, and that's the most frustrating thing for me. I don't know what we're going to do and what we're trying to implement. But look, the Ox is gone. What's been done is done. Good luck to him. Not really interested in him. Couldn't give a shit. I look forward to seeing him put in a few good crosses on Match of the Day without. And I'll tell you now, give it a couple of months, the Liverpool fans will suss it out as well. And he might just become a squad player there. Or he could go the other way and Klopp could really make his game simple, make sure he don't have to think about things too much, and he could be a very good player for them. But to be honest with you, that's irrelevant now, isn't it? And we got money for him and we've got to move on.
Yeah, from my point of view, it's just a shame that an England international that I had such high hopes for, that we invested 6 years of our time and money into, has moved clubs, and he hasn't turned into the player that we hoped he would be. At 24 years old, he's in the peak of his career. 6 years from now, he'll be 30 years old, and it's be interesting to see where he is at that stage in his career, whether he has fulfilled his potential. It'll be. I'll be looking forward to doing that with you guys when I'm 27 years old. That'll be fun. Let's move on to just one final question that we've got in on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'll come to you, James, with this one. Very simple one from Yearness on Twitter, at @comical_Yearness. Realistic opinion on how Ox will get on at Liverpool?
He'll be all right. He'll just, he'll be all right. No more than that. I don't want to say that he'll turn out amazing because he'll just piss me off, so he'll be all right.
Do you think he's got a chance of cementing a midfield spot there?
It all depends, doesn't it? I mean, it all depends how long the line is out for. Obviously, like I've said, the Spanish window closes tomorrow. I still think Barcelona might try and get Coutinho over the line. It's weird. It's weird, mate. It really is. I really don't know. If he goes and he flourishes, then by all means, I'll eat my words. But I agree with what was said. He's never really delivered the big numbers that we wanted to. He's shown glimpses in certain games. He's shown potential when he's played centre mid, like you said, in that AC Milan game. But how many years ago was that? Do you know what I mean? If he hasn't done it now, is he ever going to do it? 24, he's still got, if he stays fit, a good 8, 9, 10 years ahead of him. But who knows?
One last thing on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, I'm getting fed up with all our players fucking mollycoddling him and coming out and going, "Oh, love you, Ox. Oh, good luck at Liverpool." Piss off. They're our rivals. I hope he does shite at I hope he really does shite at Liverpool. I don't want to see all our players coming out going, "Oh, do this, do that." Who cares? Go, you're done.
Yeah.
You're off.
Well, that's
the sort of club we are, though, mate. That just relates back to the whole thing that we are a very nice club to be. We are a comfortable club, and it is, it's kind of the exact problem that we've got. You wouldn't have seen Adams, Dixon wishing, Robert Pires, if he was moving to United or whoever at the time. You'd never see that happening. Never.
No, exactly. And I just hope that we play them when they come to the Emirates, and I hope Kolasinac is up there and he will.
Lets him know he's there.
Yeah, just let you know you're there early doors, because we've seen what happens when people get stuck into it. We don't like it. So, but yeah, I don't buy all this of our players been cuddling up to him and all that. It does me nothing. Just go. Like, he's done. Say goodbye to him in person. Don't worry about putting it all over social media. Gibbs, I can understand, because obviously he's going to do you know what I mean? But yeah, ta-da, Ox.
Anyway, that's enough of the Oxlade-Chamberlain talk. On to an even more depressing topic in Alexis Sanchez. Been a bit of a wild one with Alexis today. Hearing reports that City bids 60 million quid for him, 55 million up front and then 5 million in add-ons, which we've turned down seemingly because we couldn't secure the services of Lamar after our £92 million bid. Again, this is all paper talk. Don't know if this is entirely true or confirmed yet, but if that is the case, mental day for Arsenal, and again just shows the utter incompetence of this club. Why we couldn't get this sort of stuff done earlier in the window. We could have had Lamar for half the price a couple of months ago. James, Alexis Sanchez remaining at the club. That's not what he wanted. I'm not sure in the end it's what a lot of Arsenal fans wanted. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, it's such a mess, mate. It's a complete and utter mess. I mean, I don't think we're going to get to the levels of Costa and Tevez and, Winston Bogard, if you can remember all that back. Pierre Van Hooijdonk at Forest. It ain't going to get to that level. It ain't going to get to that level. But for me, I'm like, there's a bloke there who clearly doesn't want to be there, doesn't care. I love Alexis Sanchez, always will. Like I said, I've got a framed bloody photo of the bloke just in the corner of your bedroom. I ain't going to get rid of it. He's given me some good times, that banger against Villa in the cup final, some other bits. But you should have let him go, and you should have had that money reinvested into someone to bring him in to replace. And then we go again. No one's bigger than this club. Nobody. I don't care who they are. And I mean, I'm going to take you into a bit of a journey into my life here, right? When I was a young boy, my highlight of the year would be just after Halloween, the new Argos catalogue would come out, right? Now, just stick with me. Hold the laughter in. Stick with me, right? I would get a pen just like this one or a highlighter, and I would go and treat myself into the toilet. Not for anything like that. I was a young man, but I would have my number twos, and I would circle everything that I wanted with the highlighter or the pen in that Argos catalogue, and I would return it to Sue and Eddie, mum and dad, but we'll go first name basis. And they would go, son, us and Father Christmas will do all we can to get you what you've circled in that Argos catalogue. Now, how can Arsene Wenger, surely, all right, I guess he's not a pull anymore. I guess as a club, he's not a pull anymore. But surely he's got some scouting network. I mean, fucking hell, how much money we invest in that stat DNA? Surely he's gone, right, circle him, give it to Gazeta, to whoever. Can you sort that out for me, please? Like, what the fuck is going on with recruitment at this club? What is going on? And we get all the time, we're having an investigation. I just feel it's someone opening the door. What's happening here? Don't know. Okay. Yeah, I investigated it. I had a look. I couldn't see anything going wrong.
That's your mum looking at you on the toilet, mate.
Well, mate, come on.
Mate, PSG must have an unbelievable Argos catalogue.
Well, yeah.
It's just, I know what you're saying, though, mate. It's completely true there. It's just disgraceful with regards to Alexis. I mean, I'm worried about the situation. I mean, personally, I feel, and I said it a lot last season, and I did have quite a few conversations with people and took a lot of stick about it, but I genuinely do believe from February onwards, he still contributed. Yes, he did, but he weren't the same player. Since the whole...
Oh, his body language has been atrocious.
Yeah, the body language is
It's been atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, against Liverpool, deja vu.
Yeah, he always is a sulky little... But that's the way he is. But I just look at it and I think, well, really, is it a disruption? Are people pissed off him? And you see it on the pitch. You see players... When you take note and watch it and you see their reactions, it ain't healthy, mate. It really ain't healthy to have... It's nice to have a bit of gripe and a bit of angst in the dressing room or whatever, but I just think sometimes it's too far. And look, he's a great footballer. He's a brilliant footballer. Like JJ said, he's done some fantastic things. He's lovely to watch. He can be infuriating at times, but he is that killer. He will do that unbelievable moment. He will ping a ball in from 30 yards. He will do a brilliant cross. He will create a goal. But is his heart at our football club anymore? No, it ain't. I don't care what anyone says. No, he's not interested. He wanted to go to Man City. Simple as that. He wanted to leave. He would have 100% left. I genuinely believe that was a scenario from the start of the summer. When we speak to Alexis Sanchez, when we speak to Mesut Ozil, when we speak to Oxlade-Chamberlain, do you want to sign another contract at this club? You expire. You're going to go for nothing at the end of next year. No. Okay. I'm going to sell you now and we're going to replace you. Simple as that for me. It's not hard. And for me, the only reason that Alexis Sanchez is staying at this football club is for Arsene Wenger's own vanity. And it sounds harsh and it sounds crazy, but I think that's true. Genuinely, Arsene signed these players, Mesut Ozil for 5 years, Alexis Sanchez for 4 years. It's Alexis' 4th year, Mesut's 5th year. If you genuinely, hand on heart, look back at the previous 5 years, it's a failure. I don't care what anyone says. 3 FA Cups is absolutely fantastic, brilliant, but it's been a failure. I'm sorry, it has. He's brought them players in. The following season, after bringing them two in, we didn't sign an outfield player. astonishing. We bought in Petr Cech for 10 million, didn't sign an outfield player. Flamini absolutely exploded our season into smithereens. Then he brought in £5 million El Neni just to try and steady the ship, which he done, to be fair. But he is nothing. Mohamed El Neni was nothing but a stopgap player, and he never will be, if you're honest, top quality to win people the title. Simple as that. So he balls that season up. Then the following season after that, Leicester City. Sorry, that was the year Leicester obviously won the title. And we're going full circle and we're not improving. And last season, even the panic buys, Lucas Perez, he's just mad. And then at the start of this summer, you think, right, he shouldn't have got a new deal, but he's got one. He won the FA Cup. He's got another 2 years. Surely he's got to go for broke now. But what he has done, he's realised that with them going for free next year, it's snookered us because we're missing out on £150 million worth of assets, really, because they're all going for nothing. And obviously we've shipped the Ox out, but sort of the club are looking at that thinking, right, well, there are sellable assets. They're not contracted. If he's going to stick with them players, we can't afford to give him the additional funds to go out and strengthen the squad. And Arsenal's put himself in that position because he's put all his trust and all his eggs in the same basket. And now he's got two players in Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez that, for me, you've got to question their full commitment to the club. You've got to question their mindset for the next 6 months before they start talking to other clubs. And Arsenal really is only doing this to try and prove his point and save his bacon. And I think it's well too late for that. And realistically, if he had the best thoughts of Arsenal at heart and the best interests at heart, he should have moved them players on. He should have got the money in and he should have invested in Lamar or Draxler, 22, 23-year-old guys that are going to be about for the next 6-7 years. Because let's not forget, Alexis Sanchez is 29 in December. He's played 4 straight summers of football. Like he's played unbelievable amounts of football. He is in the red zone. He's really close to getting a long-term injury. Touch wood, it don't happen, but it's irrelevant. He's going to be going for nothing. We're going to lose our only asset, and that is the way it is. But Arsenal, if it goes to tits up this season and they leave for nothing, what is he leaving the next guy? Honestly, what is he leaving him?
You know what? You are so spot on here, mate, because for me, he is playing the ultimate game of chance because for some fluke reason, with Alexis Sanchez, if he stays, if he applies himself and we somehow make the top 4 or we win the Europa League and then get in the Champions League, Arsene Wenger will come out and go, all of you that day told me to sell him. All you pundits, all of you, you've never spent a day in football. It is all just for me.
I think they'll still walk,
they'll still walk. They'll go. They won't sign.
Yeah.
They won't sign, but he'll go, you all told me to sell him. And now, look, I'm back where I want to be. I'm back in the Champions League. And all of you said he should go. And it's all, I was the one who told him he's got to stay. It's all just for his own vanity. And it's a power play. It's like I said in our group chat the other day, all these players that were signed from this stat DNA, not from what Wenger recruited and all of this, they've all seemingly gone. Gabriel's gone. Bloody Lucas Perez, which I'm fuming about. What did he ever do wrong? You get people going, oh, James, he don't track back. He's a centre forward. And he does track back. Look at that goal against Crystal Palace. Who's the one who gets Giroud's, who gets all that move started? Lucas Perez. Watch it back. Him and Sanchez.
But that there, JJ, what you've mentioned is almost alluding to the power struggle that is going on behind the scenes because Ivan Gazidis clearly is massively wrong there, and by all accounts, what you hear coming out of the club is
they're cowards, mate. There's no other word for them. They're utter cowards, mate. Utter cowards.
The majority of the members. Yeah, they're cowards with Mickey.
Oh, don't.
No, but genuinely though, I do genuinely believe that Ivan Gazidis wanted Arsene Wenger to move on, and I do genuinely believe there was quite a few people in that club that did. But the overriding decision holds with Stan Kroenke, and Arsene has appointed Gazidis as his own boss. Now, for me, Gazidis should walk. I think he should walk, and he'll get a job elsewhere because I think Gazidis has done a good job. And personally, I think if it was up to him, he brought in this whole stat DNA thing, and I think it was more of because Wenger realised that they wanted him gone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all these stat DNA players, Mustafi's trying to ship him out. What's that all about? Mustafi's a quality centre back. I don't understand that. Like you said, even El Neni was offered to Leicester and the deal broke down, and Lucas Perez, and it's so bizarre. It's almost as if he's sort of turning around and going, "Nah, fuck you. I'm Arsene Wenger. I'm ruling the roost here. I'm doing what I want." So we're in a bad situation.
It's going to take someone like a Gazidis or someone like, you know, one of them big board members to leave and then either go on a Sky Sports News or say what's happening. Because
same for the players.
Honestly,
though,
it's so hush hush. Someone's going to have to, because, you know, all of us, we all think we know what's going on. We've all got our opinion, but we don't truly know. But for me, I in my heart of heart, I believe like he has got this Messiah complex, and now that he knew that was it Kroenke's son, Gazidis, and was it Dick or one of the others or Chips? What did it matter? And now he's in. He's doing that to all of them. He's giving him two.
Surely someone can't be that arrogant though. Surely.
Oh, they can. They can.
Why? Because it's not for the best.
All he's got is this football club, mate. He's got nothing else, and he don't. You know, when you get to a certain age, I've seen it with people. I've seen it with family members. They can't let things go. Possessions, all sorts. You know,
Argos catalogues.
Exactly. You can't let things go. It's memories.
No, but it is entirely frustrating with Arsene, and he's gonna tarnish, and he already has for me tarnished. His tenure at the club, it really does feel that way.
We don't enjoy speaking about him like this.
No, none of us want to be in this
painful.
situation.
It's horrible.
He should have let go. He really can't let go, and that's the biggest detriment. And obviously, everyone gets frustrated at times, but for last season, for him coming out saying the fans were ensuring we were playing in a difficult atmosphere, absolute bollocks, Arsene. I'm sorry, we work our nuts off Monday to Friday. We work all week to be able to afford to come and get behind the boys and support our football club. And when we see the situation we're in as a fan, when you work so hard in your own life to be able to just go and watch a game, these geezers are earning insurmountable amounts of money, which is irrelevant to me. But the scenario is that you've got a right to an opinion. And if you can genuinely see that your manager earning £10 million a year, who's been in the job for 20 years, is playing two left backs at centre back, playing a right back at left back, and playing a centre mid at right back, what are we mental? Are we the ones that are mental? It is astonishing that he could even come out and be arrogant and disrespectful enough to question the fan base. It is just painful to see Arsene. In a way, I sort of worry about him. I think, what's happening to him? He's just got total control over the situation. It's painful and it's worrying, and someone really needs to grab him. But ex-players have tried. Tony Adams obviously fell out of him. Loads of them have fell out of him. No one can touch him. Patrick Vieira's tried to come back to the club. Jens Lehmann's come in and he's just a nodding dog. It really is a nodding. He's come in, and what impact has he had? What a magic. Do you know what I mean? Nothing. It's just so entirely frustrating that all these people are under his stealth. Steve Bold, big horrible centre-back, and he's like a little weasel on that bench. He just sits there like, it's entirely frustrating. And I mean, we're sat here now.
Yeah. You know, they
10 minutes to go, mate. And look,
we were promised it was a catalyst for change. All that's changed is that we got 3 new kits. I only like one of them, and it's not the home one. I like the pink and black. It reminds me of Bret the Hitman Hart. But the rest of what has changed other than we got a decent, finally world-class finishing striker that we put on the bench, and we've got someone who's got a bit of heart, bit of muscle, and everything, and we put him on the bench as well. I mean, then you're sticking with the same people that got your 5th.
So a bit of breaking news: Ryan Babel was signed for Newcastle.
Oh,
that's a corker of a deal, mate. This is it. We're £17 million in profit for this window alone. We're £17 million in profit. We were supposed to have £150 million available to spend. This is what was said at the start of the summer.
Jeff Arsenal told me we were getting 3 signings in today, mate.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, maybe the club tried to get deals over the line, but the fact you're sat here on do you know what I mean? This late in the day is, for a club of Arsenal's size, and you go out early, you secure the signing of Lacazette, done. You get Kolasinac in, done. You think, great, that's really good, like lovely, but don't kick on. You just sit there, you waddle through the transfer window.
Is that still Sky Sports News on behind you, by the way?
It is.
I was going to say, there's some naughty birds dancing there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, fair, yeah, all right.
Oh, bloody hell, I've sat on the remote. No, but it's just look. It's very doom and gloom at the moment, and you will have people still out there still thinking, "Come on, Arsene, you can do this." But it's done. He's got to let it go. We've got to let it go, and we've got to understand that we're in trouble this season, and something's drastically got to change, because even though he's changed the formations, he's done this, he's done that, he's still struggling to put personnel in the right positions. He's still not getting a tune out of the players. He's still... It's going to be painful. In the Bournemouth game, like I said earlier, I'm sure there will be some sort of protest, whether it's a boycott, whether it's another march. I mean, I personally think I'd find it very, very difficult to boycott a game. I love my football. I love going to watch the Arsenal. I love supporting the team. But something like that is really the only way things are going to get across. And even then, I'm not so sure that Stan Kroenke really cares. So they're going back to selling them shares to Kroenke and putting ourselves in that position. He was known at the time as a pretty poor businessman who really tried to make a profit out of these sports. And unfortunately, you see it with majority American owners, not just at Arsenal, all across at Villa and all these places. For them, they're trying to extract profit from an English football club, and it doesn't work like that. And unfortunately, until Kroenke goes, I can't defend Arsene Wenger for his team selections and all that, but from top to bottom at this club, we are rotting. We are rotting. Yeah. We're not an employer of choice anymore for the players. We've got so many players running down their contracts. We're in danger of not bloody plummeting into the Championship, but we're in danger of becoming mediocre, because Liverpool getting that extension to their stadium, 60,000 in there now. Spurs moving into their new ground. Chelsea looking at doing bits. Old Trafford's massive. Manchester City have got their stadium. Look, mate, we're in trouble. It's an even playing field out there now with the Premier League money. Teams like Everton, they've got Mashari in there. They're showing intent. They're exciting. They're trying to do bits. They're trying to get a new stadium. We're going to be left behind, and until someone rolls that dice at our football club, we're struggling.
We got to own the size of a club that we are. That's the main thing, you know.
We haven't done that for a long time.
Exactly, mate. But someone needs to proper go in there and just smack their heads together or something. I don't know who. I don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, it's going to take someone from that board, someone like a Gazidis or whatever, to leave. And if they don't embargo him saying you can't say this, you can't say that, he's got to go. Like I said, he's got to go on a Sky Sports News. Or if we're lucky enough, we might get him on here, mightn't we? If we play our cards right. He's got to, imagine the viewing numbers on that.
Big old Ivan.
Exactly. And we got to find out the truth. We really do, because, everybody's like, oh, when Wenger leaves, that book, he ain't going to be like Fergie. He ain't going to cuss nobody out. He ain't going to say anything we don't already really know. And honestly, like you said, top to bottom, it is a shambles there. It is an absolute shambles. And I mean, to stick with this lot till January now with nothing else, I'm like, fuck me. There better be some things pumping through in the academy or something. There's got to be, or the free agent market better be shit up.
Would you not just like to see though a journalist come out after that defeat at Anfield or after the game with Stoke and just say to him, Arsene, I'm not disrespecting you, but mate, why are you playing two left backs at centre back? Why are you playing a right back at left back?
It's like you said. You said earlier, mate. Because when they do that, he'll go, "You ain't coming in here anymore," and then they won't get the scoop, mate. Because if he's like you said, it's an ego thing. It's an ego, and it pains me to say that, because I used to, when that Arsene Wenger used to come on my telly, everyone had to shut up and we had to listen to what he said. Now I turn it off. I couldn't care less. He either talks in riddles or he's got more waffles than Captain Birdseye, mate. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it.
It was funny before the game at Anfield where he was quizzed on why Lacazette wasn't being played, and he came out and said that he's going through a transition phase. I mean, after playing,
was he having a sex change?
He's not over this club anymore, mate. It's hardly possible.
He's just
he's a footballer. He ain't a fucking transformer, is he?
That's what I mean. We just get him on the pitch. You pay £52 million for him. He's like an all singing, all dancing centre forward that can finish for fun. And he got Danny Welbeck like.
Before the game, he sat there with Thierry Henry. I want to score the big goals in the big games.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you can't score them from the bench, can you, boy?
So I mean, with it now looking like with 5 minutes to go until the transfer window slams shut. What's our strongest lineup now?
Our strongest lineup? Have we got any players left? Right, in what formation?
Let's say we played a 3-4-2-1.
Do I need to get my notepad out? Let's have a look. Let's write it down.
I'll
get my Argos catalogue. Give me a sec.
I'd be going, check. 3 centre-backs. I'd have Koscielny, Mertesacker, Mustafi. Then I'd have Kolasinac on the left, not on the right. And I'd have Bellerin on the right and not on the left. In the middle of the park, I'd still, even though people will hate it, I'm still going Xhaka Ramsey, because I genuinely do believe if you put 3 centre-backs in there, 3 actual centre-backs in there, and you have 2 actual wing-backs not playing with their boots on the wrong feet, that will make a huge difference. And with the players we've got left, I think that's what's going to happen. Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil behind Lacazette.
That sounds like a good team.
It does sound like a good team in theory, but you've got to take into account that there's players there that heads might be elsewhere. I think there is also an option. I wouldn't mind at some point seeing a midfield 3 of Wilshere, Xhaka, Ramsey. I'd quite like to see that. I think that'd be lovely. I really do think it would. But there's still reason to be excited about this squad. But the thing that drains the life out of me for it is the one geezer that really matters.
JJ, what about you? Strongest team?
I would say the same, but obviously, Koscielny tonight got, clattered by that dickhead, didn't he? The old Iron Robin.
Apparently he's okay though. He's meant to
is he?
Right.
Oh, I heard he went off and right. Okay,
before he came back on.
If everyone's fully fit, then I would probably say the same as was. However, I think we're going to have a problem with Sanchez. So for me,
I think as well, just before you move forward, JJ, I think it's good. I don't see Mertesacker playing for Arsenal a great deal this season. So that defence still worries me. I still think we needed, with the Gabriel departure, another centre-half. I mean, I'm all up for playing 3 centre-backs. So maybe Mustafi, Koscielny, but it's going to have to be either Rob Holding or Callum Chambers. Because I don't think Mertesacker is going to play a great deal. So it comes down to those 2. Or I think it will be a case of Mustafi, Koscielny, and I think Monreal. I think that will be the back 3.
We've got that Monreal. No, he's better as a centre back. He's a beast. That's mad. Why are you playing him in the middle of the 3? It's absolutely astonishing. But I personally, although Monreal has done well and I do like him, like you said there, I would be more inclined with the 3 centre backs, even if one of them is Holding or Chambers on that right hand side and Kos and Mustafi, because I just think it's just more natural. Everything's more natural, and I know Azpilicueta does it for Chelsea, a similar thing to Monreal, but I don't know. I just like the idea of having centre backs, and none of them are slow, none of them are slouches. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if we're going to be protecting Gary Cahill or do you know what I mean? They're 3 fast centre backs, so it's I don't know. I'll let you carry on with your team. We still ain't heard.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I think there might be a few problems with Sanchez. So if he drops out, I don't know how you'd work it in the system, but I would go with Giroud and Lacazette, and I'd have sort of, the best way I can describe it for me is imagine the Liverpool side of like 2001 type time when it was Heskey and Owen. And we you sort of not go long ball. I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying abandon the principles, but have him. Who's better in the league than Giroud at holding that ball up, playing it? And I'll tell you what, Lacazette would love that. He would love that.
So JJ, you're sort of saying instead of a 3-4-2-1 with a 2 behind the 1, have a 3-4-1-2 with a 1 behind the 2.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. You've done that a lot better than me. Yeah.
Like have Ozil in behind a front 2 as such, 2 centre forwards.
Yeah,
I like that, especially.
I'm very open to that.
I can see Sanchez being a problem. I think he'll look at it and he'd be like, do you know what? Not that he's in South America now. I don't think he's going to stay there and do a Costa, but I think he's going to look at it and go, no, you knew what I wanted, and you didn't let it happen. So F you type thing. If. I don't know. Some people are like, he ain't that type of person. I would love to be proved wrong, but I really do believe that he's an ambitious lad. And this club, for me, I'm really sorry to say it, if it hurts everybody's feelings, we ain't ambitious at the moment. We ain't got no clear vision of what we want to be, what we want to do. In our heads, we've all got what we want to do and what we want to be. But what's expectation and reality are totally different things.
Bang. Window's
Shut.
been shut. Someone's just shut it.
Bloody hell.
Jim White's up there giving it all that. So oh, my window's shut. But that's the end of that. What a thoroughly frustrating transfer window, because we're quite sad. We just got to look forward, haven't we, and enjoy what we have got. And I see the only Mino Raiola player we got on our books has gone as well. Young Donnell Malin to PSV. So we've got no super agent left, have we? So what a transfer window. What an entirely frustrating transfer window. I cannot wait for Bournemouth at home.
What do you think, mate? What do you think that, the fans, you talk about the pro. I mean, you've been out there yourself. I mean, James, you filmed a few of it. Mate,
it's terrifying.
Yeah, I know. But what do you think we need to do? For me, I think you either leave before a game finishes, or you stay in the concourses or whatever, and don't buy anything. Like, if you're listening, don't buy anything, and go in about 10, 15 minutes into a game. Have it empty when they walk out, because then the players will sort of go, no, do you know what? This is a shambles here. So I think some of them, they're being paid and it's padding, it's padding over it. I think they really need to show like how bad this is.
The thing with walking in, it does make a stand, but what it does do is when the seats do fill up, they think, oh well, they bought the tickets anyway, so it don't really matter. They're just missed.
The Emirates will always be full as well. They'll always be.
Yeah, but do you not think that if they walk out, and obviously there's just I know some people will still go in. I know there will still be people that'll be like, oh, I'll pay. No, I want to watch my football. Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, fair play. You go do it. But if there's that visual representation, just red and where the white bits are, empty seats, when them players walk out, do you not think that might wake them up a bit as well and be like, do you know what?
It would. And also, I think what would be a good idea is if everyone turned their back to the game. Just turn their back to the game. Just stood there facing the wrong way.
Well, they'll probably think we're doing a Poznan.
Obviously don't jump up and down. But I mean, it's difficult to get your... I mean, the club are fully aware that the fan base are not happy. And now, for me, after the closing of this window, it is going to be pandemonium. And I'm sure there'll be people out there now vigorously setting up all sorts of protests. And I think it'll be fighter jets going over the it's going to be a rough turmoil few months, and especially if results don't start picking up, because I don't see how Arsene Wenger's position can continue, but it will, and it will continue. But we just got to try and I don't know, I can't say brush it off because I'm as devastated as everyone else, but we really have to just try and get behind them 11 guys on the pitch, and yes, do a protest, do whatever, but I mean, for instance, the Cologne game, I'm telling you now, there's going to probably be 20,000 Cologne fans coming over to the Emirates, and they will easily get tickets, easily. We've seen it before with German teams, and there's a good chance at that game there could be as many Cologne fans as there is bloody Arsenal. It sounds mad, but we could be seeing scenarios like that. So,
well, if we don't take our, tickets, what they're 15 odd quid a pop in it. That's sort of you do the conversion. That's sort of the prices they pay at home, really, isn't it?
Exactly, and they will travel in numbers. It's been a while since Cologne have had an away game in Europe, their first one. So, and it's the Arsenal. So, I mean, it's just going to be frustrating. And Bournemouth is massive because we have to get them 3 points. Not just 3 points. We have to put in a performance. We have to see people like Alexis Sanchez show that, yes, I'm still at the club, but I am going to give my all. You have to see a performance from Xhaka. You have to see.
They're in a rut as well, though, and I hate saying it, but if I was Eddie Howe and them now, I'd look at it and go, we could get something out of that.
Definitely,
mate. To show the money going around, I just see over my shoulder that Damari Gray, Bournemouth offered £25 million for Damari Gray, and it was rejected. And that is the money flying about, mate. And we've got minus 17 million spent this summer, and the money, people are whacking their willies out and throwing that sort of money at clubs. Do you know what I mean? And we're sat in here.
It's the kind of game where you can just see it, can't you? It's in your head now. They bring on Jermaine Defoe as a sub. He just has one touch. There you go. And we lose it 1-0 or something like that after bombarding bloody whoever they've got in goal for ages. I think generally every single team there looking at Arsenal, they'll be like, we can get something out of that because we're frail. We are really on the back burner, and it's got to take something serious to get us out of this. Because obviously today we didn't do it. So, God knows what it's going to be.
No, it's worrying, mate. I'm worried about this season. I really am. I mean, a couple of games time, win against Bournemouth, win against Chelsea. It's all hunky dory again, pretty much. But I look at Man United, the way they're playing, the players they brought in, done some serious business this window, bringing back Ibrahimovic as well. I look at some of the business even Tottenham have done, and you've got to think they're building their new stadium now. Managed to bring in Serge Aurier. They've arguably made their what was a great defence last season even stronger by bringing in Aurier, who can do as good a job as someone like Kyle Walker can, and they've made
and Sanchez, Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean they've done some snide business this window. City getting Bernardo Silva for 46 million. That was like an absolute snip now. I mean it's been disappointing. It's been a disappointing end to a disappointing window. The only positive I can really take is we've held on to Alexis Sanchez. Just got to hope he puts in some solid performances and remains dedicated to his football for his own sake and for the club's. And the fact we've got such a large transfer fee for what I would say is I don't know if I'd go as far as saying Oxlade-Chamberlain is a mediocre player, but certainly not a world-class talent. I mean, to get what could be 50 million for him, I think that we've got to look at that as good business. Yeah. I mean, we haven't brought in a Lamar, we haven't brought in a Draxler, we haven't brought in a Mahrez when some of these players have been put on a plate for us. So I'm disappointed we haven't done a bit of business. And for me, I still think we're very light in midfield. And I do worry about, the fragile defence that we've got at the minute. So,
like I said, the free agent market better be shit up. It really better.
Park Chu-Young back on the line. That'd be quality, mate.
Looking forward to November watching Coquelin and El Neni line up side by side in the middle of the park again. I think another season of it. It is literally Flamini and Arteta reborn. It is that. Anyway.
Can I just say as well, if you are going to protest and everything, use your energy that you want in protesting. Don't start smacking one another. That's the one thing that winds me up. Like you said earlier, victory through harmony. If you don't agree, walk away. But together, generally, everybody should be doing that. Don't be doing that. It don't work.
Yeah, no, just to echo that, completely agree. I mean, I think there's got to be, if we're going to get any sort of message towards the club now, protests, whatever you want to call them, demonstrations have just become more of a regular thing. I think it's quite obvious for any match-going fan that no one's happy. No one is happy with this situation.
I've just read here that apparently Arsenal are reportedly willing to negotiate with Barcelona for a €60 million fee for Mesut Ozil.
You what?
Yeah, and their window closes tomorrow, don't
no, they?
They've got another day, so it's coming out everywhere. Apparently, Barcelona have offered €60 million for Mesut, who apparently no club in the world wants. So
it won't be at Cam then.
If that happens, it's been nice knowing you guys and enjoy the season. Fingers crossed they get Coutinho. Fingers crossed they buy Coutinho.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that now. Coming out from El Partidoze de Cope. Gonna be interesting.
we're done in, mate. I think we should call it a night here. I'm getting too depressed.
Still though, got Matthew Debussy at the club.
Give it a few weeks, mate. He'll be playing.
God, this is horrible.
Right, I love how we've all assumed the same pose there was, mate. Just...
Right, so final word from the both of you. JJ, I'll come to you first. How would you sum up this transfer window using just 3 words?
Absolute fucking shit.
And the same for you was?
Shambolic, infuriating bollocks.
Go on, James.
I'm not doing it, mate.
Go on.
I can't. Arsenal Football Club. There we go. On that note, lads, I think, it's way past my bedtime. I've got the Argos catalogue to get through tonight.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Get your biros out.
See what Father Christmas brings through this year. That'll be fun. Certainly more fun than supporting Arsenal. God, it's been a depressing one tonight. I hope it's not like this for the rest of the season.
Mate. We'll be back with smiles, don't worry.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. At least we've got the international break to look forward to. That'd be nice. Anyway, chaps, it's been brilliant. It's been fun. It's been all right tonight. Yeah, pleasure chatting with you both as always. JJ, haven't done this for a while, so yeah, really good to speak to you, mate. I hope that you
pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
You enjoy the weekend as it's coming up shortly, and the same for you. Was been absolutely delightful talking to you, and yeah, all the best. Really enjoyed it, and thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. Cracking viewing numbers as always. Please do be sure to like the Gooner Ramble on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on iTunes, follow the Twitter, follow myself, Was, and James on Twitter. It's all in the description box below. You know what to do. Lads, once again, thank you for taking part tonight. And thank you all for watching. And we'll be speaking to you very, very soon.
Things can only get better.